I go and get it, don't wait. Nigga, you great. So go and get it, don't hate. Stop waiting for handouts. Put your cell phone. Stay connected, networking like a cell phone. My goal's B.I.G. I guess I'm dead wrong for believing in. Yeah. I'm back. But I ain't never left. I'm back on my grind. It stays on my mind. If it don't make sense, I'm harder to find. Nah, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of D.E.E.P, where I just journey down and give you, you know what I'm saying, just summarize, you know what I'm saying, episodes or movies or animes, whatever the case may be. Still doing couch potato. I'll have one going on today. I'm about to go check out that Mad Max. But wanted to get back into this. So this is D.E.E.P, where we're right now on the Black Mirror kick, episode 3 of season 1. And this episode was called The Entire History of You. So, yeah, this one was, it had a twist to it, you know what I'm saying? For you guys that's, you know, just now joining the channel or just checking in, it is pretty much like the Twilight Zone, but just, you know, their little spin on different things, some, you know, different stories. But this one was not too crazy as the other two, but it still was like thought-provoking. And the entire history starts out with a character named Liam. And it kind of goes into the technology, which you actually will see this technology throughout the whole Black Mirror seasons. And as they introduce new technology, they end up putting those through the episodes as well. But with this one, man, it's kind of like what I kind of already have going through my mind at times. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of wish, you know, there's a camera all the time, which it probably is already, right? To kind of see things that you're like, all right, I did say this, and some people be like, nah, you didn't say that, you know, and you're kind of like pulling teeth trying to get somebody to believe something that happened when you wish you could just play it back. And kind of like it's the reason why I got this tattooed. Lord knows, because, you know, like, hey, if you don't believe me, you know, Lord knows. They seen the whole situation, regardless if you hear me out or not. Like I said, sometimes I'm wrong. So, but I wish we had a playback, which this actually goes into. And so, like I said, it starts out with your boy Liam. Let's get to it. Oh no, I did close it out, huh? All right, but it goes with your boy Liam, and it introduced, like, you know, the technology. In this time, it's just pretty much where you at? Oh yeah. It's a technology that, you know, they get this device implanted behind their ear, goes into the brain, pretty much their optics, and whatever you see, it's kind of like, you know, saying the Ray-Ban glasses a little bit, but it's actually just inputted in you, which we might actually end up going down this road later, who knows. But it goes into where whatever you see when you have that device, and a lot of people in this realm has the device, and it's kind of like social media, you know, a little bit, but it's more, okay, this is how my day went. You get to play it back and, you know, enjoy things that way. And you can erase things if you want to, if you don't want to have those memories in there. But it's just pretty much anything that you're seeing with your eyes, you know, is getting recorded. And it gets even deeper. So anyways, it starts out with Liam, what you see right here, your boy right here. Your boy Liam, and that's his wife. He's actually at an interview, and during the interview, he's just, paying attention and they're going through the whole motions of the interview. And, there's like, we'll give you a call back. So on his way back, he's flying back home. On his way back, he's actually playing back the interview. And like I said, it could be useful at times, but then it also can be detrimental, which we'll get to. Because sometimes you probably don't want to know certain things, right? So as he's going back on his way back, flying back home, he's actually playing back the interview, and he's actually watching people's mannerisms, just things that you may not catch while you're interacting. What your brain actually does when you go to sleep at the end of the day. At the end of the day, you're actually playing back your days, and saying that's just how it goes. But what he's doing right now, but let me play it back right now and see what's going on. So while he's doing that, he's kind of seeing like, oh, homeboy had a weird gesture. Like he's like, I may not get that job because how he acted, and the nonverbals they say, if you pay attention, you might be able to see things. But he's like, oh, he had a nonverbal that hey, I may not get the job, and homegirl making some little ticks, while he's doing the interview. So he's thinking about that, like, all right. But then, like I said, it goes into how the world is, which, like I said, it could be crazy. So while he's getting on the airplane, you got the TSA telling him to, play back his last 24 hours before he got on the plane. So I guess they trying to make it as, making sure he didn't commit no crimes or whatever the case is, and trying to flee. Which I was like, all right, I see how they're doing that, And then it's like, all right, go back like, a few more, like 48 or I don't know how many hours up to now. Just, they want to make sure that he's legit and he didn't do anything crazy. So he shows the TSA that they let him get on the plane. He heads back home, right? So, bum, 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 bum. So that's his wife. So once he heads back home, I guess he's meeting his wife at a little friendly gathering, if I can find that pic. But I still keep on talking while we go through it, right? So, as the friendly gathering is going on, he walks in and he sees his wife talking to this guy, right? And, he's looking, like I said, everything's getting recorded. So, as he's looking at his wife talk to this guy, and she sees him, she does her nonverbals, and he's just kind of like taking notes of that shit. And, they getting introduced, that's the dude that she was talking to. And then, she kind of turned to like, oh, shit. So he's already, saying, like, all right. And the night goes on, and homeboy is just talking and just like, yeah, if I had, I got my little playbacks, when I have like intercourse with these ladies, I play back and, watch videos and stuff of them. So homeboy's not thinking much of it, but he's just watching how his wife is interacting with this guy. Like she's laughing at corny jokes. So he's like, all right, that joke wasn't funny, but she's all, right. So as the night goes on, he actually invites this guy back. So he's kind of like playing chess a little bit, because he's already got his red flags up. Like, all right. So he's like, invites him over, and then pretty much just trying to gauge how his wife feels about the dude. And, she just like, oh, yeah, he is a jerk. Da, 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 da. And then, they end up sending the homeboy home. All right. Pretty much they wanted him to come over for a nightcap, but he was, like I said, playing around just seeing what the wife going to do. End up just like, yeah, it's too late for a nightcap. Just go ahead and go home. He's like, all right. So he goes home. But he ends up having like, all right, the deep discussions and the red flags that he saw. It's like, so he's like, how long did you know homeboy? And, he paid attention to what was going on in that party. He was like, she was like, nah, I only he was a dude that I, met back in the day. We probably had like, a week fling, right? And so he's piecing everything together. Like from the time he met homegirl, she said that this dude was like, I think Marrakesh or whatever the fuck that is. You know what I'm saying? It might be a place, but I think that's where he said that she met. He's like, oh, this is the guy that you met in Marrakesh. She's like, yeah. He's like, well, you said you messed with him with a month. And she's like, oh, I didn't say that. Or, a month or a week, whatever. It's one of those things where he plays it back. He's like, well, this is what you showed me when we first met. And she's like, well, I did whatever, but yeah, I didn't go too far. I didn't care about it, whatever. So he's like, all right. Not trying to get too much into it because, sometimes your mind can overanalyze things, right? And she's like, yeah, it was just a week, a month, whatever, He's like, okay. But he's like, well, yeah, you're laughing at his joke so hard, whatever the case may be. And he's like, oh, so y'all did mess around. And she's like, yeah, you're just getting too drunk. You're tripping, blase blah. Chill out, all right? So as he's you know, pretty much like he actually sits down there and he start piecing that shit together. But she's like, you're tripping and whatever. So he's like, all right. They go out there, make up. And what's kind of weird also is like when they're, making love and shit, these motherfuckers is not really enjoying the moment. These motherfuckers is like, you know, doing a playback of when they had, um, of them actually doing what they was doing back then. It's just like, right now it's just like, hey, we don't care anymore. It's just basic now, but back playing back like, yeah, when it was hot and heavy, right? And so as he's doing, as they do that, you kind of see that like, man, this is weird, saying how these guys are using the technology and not really enjoying, the here and now. So as he's doing that, and they do their thing. He actually goes downstairs and he starts, piecing shit together. So morning comes, he's been sitting down there, getting up, hey, all right, he grabs like the maid and like, hey, is this joke funny? You know what I'm saying? Like he's like, well, my wife is laughing to this like it's funny, but what he said is something real corny. And then she's like, and she's not trying to get into it. The wife comes down, and when she comes down, right, she's like, oh man, you tripping, man, you doing too much. This is just like the last time what we had. And as you can see, that's what happens when they play the shit back in their eyes. And she's like, yeah, you tripping. Like there's nothing there, nothing happened, blah, blah, blah. And, he's like, all right, well, he's like, gets to it and he's like, well, he's like, you see, when I walked in, you kind of looked at me weird and you like, you kind of like, oh shit, got all clammy because I'm around. So he's like, yeah, something kind of went on with you guys that you're not trying to tell me, right? And as he's piecing it together, she finally, cracks and like, yeah, we we dated for 6 months and da 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 da. So he's like, all right, because he actually went back and was like, all right, at the party, he's like, I see you in the background when Homeboy was playing back a video of when y'all was out and you back there kissing him. So there's got to be serious. So she breaks down. Yeah, it's been 6 months. We did. It wasn't a week or a month. So he's like, all right, caught you in a lie. Like I tell you, the history of you, man. Like some things you may not want to know, right? So she's kind of like, all right, yeah, it's been more than 6 months, and she, he's over here like, hey, what's going on? Like, all right, so he's like, so homeboy got, so that's what he's talking about. He's like, homeboy was talking about having like, these, affairs or intercourses, not even affairs, intercourses, and playing back these videos. So he's like, he got like, a spank bank of you, pretty much. And she's like, I don't know, whatever, you tripping, just, do whatever you need to do. As a matter of fact, you need to stop drinking because he's been drinking the whole night. So he's actually drunk, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go head over to Homeboy's house, and he heads over to Homeboy's house drunk, and tell Homeboy to open the gate. He's like, yeah, is your wife Fee with you? He's like, nah, she ain't. He's just like, I just want to talk, homie. And so as the dude goes in, he just like breaks it down like, man, what I'm saying, you've been messing with my wife. And he sees another girl that Homeboy's in there got, he's like, oh, you adding her to your little spank bank. And it's a girl that they had at the dinner. And she's actually a girl that actually took out that device, and says she's peaceful without it. She don't, need that stuff. And she's actually enjoying life without having to play backs and all that. Right. So long story short, they talk and he's like, all right, he's like, so you do, he's like, bring up all my stuff with my wife in your thing, and he's like, grabs a bottle, breaks it, and is about to stab him. Like, yeah, bring that up. And he's like, don't do it on your eyes. He's like, I want to make sure that you're deleting it. So, they throw it up on the screen so he can actually see if he's deleting that data. And while he's watching the data, he's, like I said, the eyes record everything. So he's looking at it and Homeboy deletes it. And he's like, all right, it's done. Right. So Homeboy goes, leaves, drives, getting the wrecks because, he's drunk and wakes up and, like, oh. And then he plays back what the hell he was doing because he doesn't remember. He blacked out. And so he kind of sees like, oh, okay, I went over to Homeboy's house tripping, got him to delete, my wife's, my wife's memories, that they had with each other. And, he actually kind of dives in a little bit more. So he's actually, like I said, this boy is on it. He's like, nah. So he dives in and actually catch something when homeboy threw it up on the screen. Um, he's like looking at, he like looks at the files that she has, and he sees that there's a one that was 18 months, and you know, homegirl should have been done with homeboy, but he's like, oh, that was 18 months ago. So he pieces it together. His wife's like, man, what you done did? He goes home, like, we need to talk. And she's like, what? He's like, yeah, we need to talk. Sit down. And he explains it. He's like, so he's pretty much like, hey, is this baby mine? Like I said, this one's kind of like, a Maury show. But he's like, hey, is this baby mine? And she's like, what do you mean? You tripping? And then, well, this is where, we'll get down there. She's like, yeah. He's like, well, had homeboy delete the file, and when I was looking at when he's deleting, I saw that you had a picture, you had a file of you 18 months, but he's like, in the background, I could see that it's the picture that we have in our room, and this is the picture, and she's like, oh shit. So homeboy's like on it, like, what? And he's like, yeah, see that we had that picture in the background, the one that I bought you. So this motherfucker been in my house, right? And so she's over here trying to like, well, and he's like, so it's the baby mine because it's been 18 months ago. And then, he's trying to piece it together. And he's like, did you wear a condom with this dude? And she's like, yeah. So he's like, all right, okay. He's not even buying it. So he's like, you know what? Pull up your file of that when that happened. She's like, I deleted it. I didn't want to have that memory. And he's like, all right, but he's not playing. He's like, pull up your file. So she starts to go and pull it up, and she didn't even delete it, right? So she's over there, and he looks at her like, oh, nah, motherfucker, don't be trying to do it in your eyes. Pull it up on the screen so I can make sure I can see. So he puts himself through it. So he actually watching the situation, man, and she throws it up on the screen, and he sees that, she didn't use no condom, and he's just like, damn, saying this is crazy. And so pretty much as this story goes on, you just see that, okay, he kind of caught homegirl red-handed, and that's just, that's what happens when you got the history of you, right? And it's kind of like, do you want to know the history of people? Some people do, saying, and some people don't mind. But in the same token, in this case, it's like, damn, it's it's a lot of things that you probably don't want to see, or do want to see, just to make sure that you're not getting involved with some bullshit. And so as he is, going through the motions of, got her caught up, and, they move out, he's actually playing back all the memories and just looking at, the things, and kind of like looking at red flags as well. Like, damn, if I only paid more attention, then I probably would have caught what was going on. And then he's also just reminiscing and missing the memories that, they did create. And as he's reliving them through the thing, he decides that he don't even want to have that device. He's like, because it could be detrimental to just living life. Sometimes some things you just better let alone, right? You don't want to dig that up. And so he ends up actually just, cutting his neck, pulling out the device, and, that's how it ends. He don't even want to be involved with that type of life. But yes, man, that the history of you, man, it's like, it was crazy. As far as that technology goes, like I said, me, honestly, I see where it can come in handy, but I also see where, you can get people trapped up, or you don't even want to know what's going on. And you can delete files, as you go, but some people keep them. And right now, like I said, we don't know. We may have some history of us already, right, going on. As I say in the Akash, in the Akashic records, we already doing what we doing, right? So, yes, let me know what you guys think as far as that episode. If you end up checking this out, your thoughts on that, and would you think that having that type of technology would be beneficial, or not? And would you mind having it? You know what I'm saying? But in this case, man, that's why you can't really love through possession, man. You just gotta let people be, let them be them. You don't possess anything, and just hope that everything is genuine, from your interactions and your relationships. But yeah, man, that episode was it was a good twist, crazy one, and it also goes to why when as they say, you never want to go digging up something or looking for something, because you might just find something, right? You might just. And I think that was a real good one where, Sean, sometimes, you might want to get the rundown because you don't want to get involved in something that, may not be genuine, man. So, yeah, that history of you. We should be going on to season 2. I'll pick that back up next week. Was supposed to do it on my Wednesdays, but, as long as I'm pushing them out throughout the week, I'm getting them to you guys. So, like I said, I'll do Couch Potato for that Mad Max later on today. Go check that out. But other than that, man, yes, that will conclude deep. Cause that shit was deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. Like, and like I said, I like the Twilight Zones. I grew up on Twilight Zones and the Outer Limits and all that stuff. So obviously, Black Mirror intrigues me as far as their stories. So that's why I wanted to kind of like give my takes and stuff on that. And just a lot of things I look at, my perspective on life is deep. So, other than that, man, we're going to conclude another episode, right, of Deep. So, thanks for kicking it with your boy Laz. It's always a blast. And the Kuna motherfucker Tata. I'm going to holler at y'all, man. When you let my mind creep. Let me look. Yeah, nigga, we made it. And I can tell that they hate it.